Very good evening to all. Myself Nagarajan Kadiresan, working as a computational scientist in KOAST Supercomputing Lab. In this presentation, I am going to talk about IBEX best practices documentation and support. This covers a general IBEX policy discussions, best practices for your jobs and workflows, and useful tips and tricks, and how we can increase your productivity while running your job or submitting your job or improve your turnaround time of your scheduled jobs. Some of the IBEX resources available for your future readings, and I will be explaining a documentation support for the new users. And finally, we can have Q&A sessions. Let us start with a general discussion on what is the purpose of login node. As we know, IBEX is a shared resources. So login nodes are mainly for editing purpose. For example, JavaScript file can be edited on your login node, and also the login node is used for compilation of your source code. Further, you can submit your jobs from your login nodes. Note that the login node should not be used for running your jobs. In case if you are running any of your jobs on your login nodes, your job will be terminated at any point of time by our system admins. So please don't run any of your jobs in the login nodes. To submit the jobs, first you need to actually understand the estimated time to complete your jobs. Say for example, 5 hours. My job required to run on my desktop or laptop. This job can be run it on IBEX. I need a maximum estimated time to complete of my job is 5 hours. So this will be specified using a Slurm parameter called dash dash time. Using dash dash time, you can reserve a certain specific node about 5 hours or 6 hours and so on. So the format of time command is a day followed by hours, minutes and seconds. The example one shows the estimated time to complete your job is 1 day, 10 hours and 30 minutes. The example 2 shows 3 minutes of estimated time to complete your jobs. Assume that if you are specifying the time limit is smaller, your job will be terminated because of the allocation is exceeding the time limit. By worst case scenario, if your job is not completed on time, you need to request us to extend the job execution time using the Slack channel. The channel name is extension. You can specify your job IDs. One of our system admin will extend our job to increase the time window for the job execution. Then let us talk about CPU and GPU policies in general. As we know, the GPU nodes are based on various architectures. For example, Cascade Lake and Skylake are as well are some of the examples of the CPU architecture. If you are not specifying any CPU type, the job will be scheduled at any available CPU. This is done by Slurm. In case if you are looking for a specific CPU architecture, you can specify a constraint parameter to select the appropriate CPU from the pool of IBEX cluster. For example, dash dash constraint is the parameter. You can use it for selecting a CPU type. For example, Cascade-like architecture is selected by using CPU underscore Intel underscore gold underscore 6248 as a constraint name. In upcoming slide, I will show you a demo how to select the appropriate constraint using a JavaScript generator. That will help you to understand more on a simple mechanism for selecting appropriate architecture. By default, maximum 40 days, you can set a time limit for running your jobs. Batch partition is used by default for the CPU resources. You can submit maximum 200 jobs at a time into the cluster. There is no CPU reservation available as of today. A fair share allocation is used to assign or allocate the CPU resources. To get more CPU details, you can use sinfo is one of the command which is available in login mode. As part of GPUs, the GPUs are from NVIDIA's. We have various architectures of GPU available from Ibex. Volta, Turing, Pascal are the various different generation of architectures available. As like in the CPU architecture, if you are not specified any constraint values, the available GPU will be selected by the scheduler Slurm, and your job will be executed on the allocated GPU. In case if your project requirement or experimental cases, if you are looking for a specific GPU architecture, you need to select two options together to get a specific GPU. Example 1, when you specify GRES option, this tell us how many GPUs you are looking for your job to run. The second constraint specifies GPU architecture. These two constraints should be selected together to run your GPU jobs on a specific architecture. For example, you are interested to run 4 GPU job using Volta. You need to specify GRES equal to GPU colon 4 followed by constraint equal to V100. So these two options tell us Slurm to select the appropriate resource parameter for your jobs. Further, you can actually select the options. Say for example, I'm actually interested to run with Pascal GPU. I'll be fine with Pascal 100 or Pascal 6000 GPUs by selecting the options pipe operator, which is also available as part of Slurm constraint. Considering a scheduling limit, a fair share allocation is a default assigned for the GPU resources. The batch partition is used by default. In case if you are actually looking for some conference deadline to submit the papers, the reservation will be created for the GPUs. To get this reservation, you need to follow up some certain process. Based on the approvals, the reservation will be created by our system admin. In case if you are looking for your resource utilizations or job turnaround time or improve the scalability, please contact us for the job optimizations and optimal partitions allocations. To understand the available as well as total GPUs in Ibex, you can use the command ginfo. The ginfo is available. Ginfo is one of the command which is available in glogin node. The screenshot, which actually represents 394 total GPUs available in Ibex, where 244 GPUs are used and 150 GPUs are free at this point of time. This ginfo command gives the dynamic metrics of used and free resources available in IBEX. Let us discuss about memory allocation. The memory is actually talking about the main memory. In main memory, by default, 2 GB is allocated. Assume that if you are not specifying dash dash mem option from Slurm, 2 GB will be allocated per job. In case your job is more memory intensive workload, your job may fail when if you are not specifying dash dash mem size. This case, you need to actually allocate a required memory. The required memory allocated in two ways. One is per node allocation. For example, in my job, in my job, the rough estimate is 64 GB memory my job is required. This case, you can specify dash dash mem equal to 64 GB. On other way around, my job is multi-threading model. I'm interested to use 6 CPUs where I can actually specify per CPU I'm looking for 8 GB memory. So total 64 GB memory will be allocated using these two constraints. In case if you are looking for a large memory nodes, you are feel free to use it. This case, for example, if I'm actually running for SOAP de novo applications or a memory intensive workload, I can choose 1 TB memory or 2 TB memory as well from IBEX cluster. Then let us talk about storage type, quota, and backup policies. In IBEX, we have 4 different type of file system available. One is home directory. The home directory is located at /home/$user. This home directory quota is 200 GB by default. This home directory is frequently backed up, meaning is if any data is deleted, it's possible to recover back your data. There is no approval required for this home directory file system. In Scratch directory, the Scratch directory is located at /IBEX/scratch/$user directory. 1.5 TB quota is by default. Please note that there is no backup available for the Scratch directory, meaning is if any data deleted or removed, it's not possible to recover back. The third file system is project directory. The project directory is located at /IBEX/scratch/projects followed by C some numbers. The C some numbers are represents as a project number for our internal use. This project quota allocation is based on the approvals. Say for example, some of your project required 10 TB storage or 15 TB storage. You need to write a simple summary of your project requirement and your PA need to approve. Based on the project approvals, will be actually allocate a project quota for your use. Here again, there is no backup or archive planned for this project storage. So ensure you don't delete or accidentally or whatever, don't delete any of your data. We may not possible to recover your data set from project directory. The fourth one is encrypted file system. This encrypted file system is mainly used for confidential data set store on the encrypted device, meaning is no one can access the data without decrypting the dataset. Again, this quota is based on a project proposal approvals. Once your PA is approved this encrypted storage, we are good to allocate the quota for your usage. Discuss about IBEX best practices. The first example is how to reduce the waiting time in the queue. Here, I explained two examples. The first example, I'm requested 10 seconds for my job. The next example, I specified 14 days as a job execution time for my job. Here, by default, in both cases, one CPU will be allocated, 2 GB memory by default, it will be allocated. The only difference is the job execution time specified 10 seconds versus 14 days. For example, in my case, my job is actually requested 5 seconds to execute. It's good to select the window of 10 seconds so that now my job will be properly executed. My resource will be properly allocated for 10 seconds. So before scheduling any of your jobs, the resource parameter dash dash time is important to set a limit on total runtime of your job allocations. In a second example, when you are looking for a multi-threaded applications, ensure that how many CPUs you are going to use it, and accordingly you need to specify a number of CPUs on your job script file. The third example, I specified CPU per task is 2. On fourth example, CPU per task is 64. In IBEX, we have a maximum number of CPUs available is 48. If we specify CPUs per task is 64, the job never will be scheduled into the queue. The reason is 64 CPUs are unavailable in IBEX, thereby the job never start in IBEX. So the resource utilization is plays the crucial role to reduce turnaround time of your jobs in the IBEX cluster. Then let's discuss about how to increase your job productivity. As we know in IBEX, there are two different type of jobs always running. One is multi-threaded jobs, another one is distributed jobs. On a left-hand side, is always suitable for a single node job is always suitable for multi-threaded jobs. MP based job is always suitable for multi-node jobs. On a left-hand side, I'm using two different parameters, dash dash node equal to 1, which specifies one node I'll be selecting for running my jobs. The second parameter, dash dash CPUs per task, which specifies how many cores I'm going to use for my jobs. Here, this CPUs per task should be specified number of integer parameters. The example one, number of nodes 1, CPU per task is 32. So the multi-threaded jobs will be executed within the node. The next example, I'll be specifying number of nodes 2, number of tasks is 64, number of tasks per node is 32. Meaning is 32 CPUs will be assigned from two different nodes, totaling 64 tasks I'll be requesting to run for my jobs. So the CPU per task is mainly used for single node jobs. Task per node is the parameter mainly used for multi-node jobs. So ensure that which parameter you are interested to use based on your application nature. Most of the bioinformatics or biology users is encouraged to use CPU per task because the biology applications are mainly based on multi-threaded. So ensure CPU per task option on your JavaScript file. In case if you are running with LAM MPPS or some of the MPE based applications, ensure you will be using ntask as well as ntask per node options, so that no number of tasks will be distributed based on the number of nodes specified in the JavaScript file. Therefore, three parameters plays the crucial role to select the appropriate resources for your multi-node jobs. This example actually shows the assigned resources appropriately used or not. For example, here my scheduler requested CPU per task is 16 and my application parameter number of threads is 16. So 16 CPUs which are allocated by Slurm is used from my application BWMM. Therefore, the resource allocation always should match with the application parameters so that you can actually improve the performance in terms of the execution time. The next tip is don't override your script. The same example what I specified here in my JavaScript file, as I specified CPU per task is 16, but during the submission time I specified CPU per task is 32. What will happen in this case? The scheduler will allocate 32 CPUs, but the application actually uses only 16 threads. So number of threads are lesser than the allocated number of CPUs. Thereby 16 CPUs become idle or unused. So you may not actually expect a improved performance or reduced execution time for your jobs. Therefore, ensure that whatever the resources you were allocated should be used by the application during the execution time. Thereby, you can increase your productivity of any jobs running on the cluster. In case if you are actually interested to dynamically vary the CPU per task option, the Slurm support a environment variable called Slurm underscore CPUs underscore per underscore task is the environment variable. Here in these applications, I specified number of thread followed by a parameter called Slurm CPU per task as an environment variable. This environment variable captures how many CPUs I'm requesting from the resource allocation. Accordingly, number of threads will be selected on the fly. For example, when I specify 32 CPUs from Slurm, the number of threads automatically assigns with 32. If my CPUs are selected with 16, the 16 threads are automatically parsed to the applications. So based on a resource allocation, number of threads automatically selected on the fly. This is the other options to improve your productivity. Then let us discuss about some documentation and support. For example, in case if you are the new user, all the requests will be sent to ibex@hpc.cows.edu.sa. For example, the user says, I'm submitted the jobs, spatch myconda.sh, it's failed. We may not possible to understand what are the software modules you were used, what are the JavaScript file you were actually included to run the jobs, and what is your standard input or output error it was created during the execution time. Without these details, it's very difficult to debug or help you on this ticket. Please ensure that a problem description should be addressed in a proper way. For example, I'm actually interested to use this Python module. From this Python module, the Panda library or whatever the library is not properly working or it's not available. How I can install my own Panda library and how I can actually use this command to run the job in the Slurm. So problem description and what is the purpose of the ticket should be clearly demonstrated in the ticket so that we can help you in a better way. So please try to provide what are the software modules you are planning to use, what is the JavaScript file you are about to launch, and what are the error file and output file details or should be attached in the ticket so that no our debugging will be very easy and we can help you in a better way. In this presentation, I will be explaining and giving a demo how to create a how to create your JavaScript file using a JavaScript generator. Go to the browser www.hpc.coast.edu.sa/ibex/jobs is the URL for this JavaScript generator. For example, in this example, I'm going to show you how to create a CPU jobs for BWMM applications. The first argument, BWMM command line argument, should be explicitly specified here. Number of task 16s, then the reference values, then the forward read and reverse read, and the output file converted to SAM file. It will be included as a command line argument here. Job name will be specified here. Then the email address will be specified here. The expected execution time of the CPU job will be given here. Say for example, either it may be a 10 hours or like 15 hours and so on. Then the partition will be selected. By default, batch partition will be included. This BWMM application is CPU type, so I'll be selecting with CPUs. Then you need to specify how much memory you are expecting for these jobs to be executed. Either it may be 32 GB or 64 GB and so on. Then click on a generate script. Your job script is actually created automatically, right? In case if the job is need to be run on a specific CPU architecture, you can use any CPU type. Either it may be a Cascade Lake or Skylake or Ivy Bridge and so on. For example, if I select Cascade Lake, you can see here the constraint is actually selected with Cascade Lake. Here, once the JavaScript file is actually created, you can copy this JavaScript. You can copy this Slurm script and put it into batch file. Then paste your JavaScript and edit based on your need. Say for example, here this BWMM applications need to be executed with 16 threads. So ensure that we'll be adding hash dispatch dash dash CPUs per task is 16. Then save this job, right? So once you modify it based on your requirement, you are good to submit this job. The other option is, in case if you are interested to run with GPU jobs, you can specify your GPU command. Say for example, NVIDIA -SMI is the one I'm interested to run, is the command I'm interested to run. This make this job. In my job, I'm interested to run with 10 minutes. I'm interested to run with a specific CPU architecture Volta, and I'm interested to run the NVIDIA SMI with 4 GPU nodes. So those options you need to be selected. You can see here the constraints automatically selected based on the type of CPUs. Say for example, if I'm selected Pascal P100, the constraint will be selected automatically. Similarly, if I'm actually interested to go with number of GPUs, 8, the number of GPUs automatically selected here. The memory constraints also should be selected based on your requirement. So you can use this JavaScript generator as a very beginner user. Then next one is, our training materials are available in the training tab. All our presentations are available for your future reading. If any issues or questions or help, please feel free to contact us. Thanks a lot for your time.